Live from...
The following is a production of the Department of Broadcasting at Western Illinois University.
Live from Salee Hall in high definition. This is a special edition of News 3. Campaign 2014 coverage starts now.
Election day is 36 states across the nation are voting for governors, and perhaps nowhere else is the contest more competitive than right here in Illinois. Good afternoon. Welcome to Live at 4. I'm Drew Hoffman.
And I'm Franny Smith. All eyes in the state are on the contest between Democrat Pat Quinn and Republican Bruce Rauner.
Mario Claro joins us this election day from Springfield. Mario?
Drew and Franny, as Campaign 2014 comes to a close within the next couple of hours when the polls close up at 7, this year's gubernatorial race between current Governor Pat Quinn and Republican candidate Bruce Rauner is in a statistical dead heat. Now, with both campaigns spending record numbers on advertising for television and print media, how will that translate into voter turnout? The ads have been everywhere. Both Quinn and Rauner camps have spent a record amount of money campaigning this year for the Illinois governor's office.
$75 million is going to be spent on this election. It does have some impact on turnout, but if there were better campaigns, that might do something for turnout. These have been pretty negative in terms of the campaign.
Rauner picked up several endorsements, including a nod from the Chicago Sun-Times, even after the paper publicly stated in 2012 they would no longer endorse political candidates. Quinn has the backing of many prominent politicians, including President Obama and former President Bill Clinton. Both have campaigned alongside Quinn this year. Despite record efforts by both parties, most recent polls show that neither candidate has a strong enough lead to break a statistical margin of error. In 2010, Quinn trailed State Senator Bill Brady by nearly 5% in polls taken just before the election. However, after a very low voter turnout that year, Quinn walked out on top by a mere 32,000 votes. Back here in Springfield, this governor's race has been a hot topic for quite a long time. Back in McDonough County, a lot of seats are available on the board, 10 positions as a matter of fact. Let's continue our Campaign 2014 coverage now from Macomb.
That's right, Mario. Several local elections are underway, including those 10 seats available for the McDonough County Board. But in a county where roughly a quarter of residents are students at Western Illinois University, much of the youth will stay home on this election day.
I'm not going to vote because I didn't register to vote.
No, I don't know anything about the local races.
Just too busy. Too busy to keep up.
The majority of WIU students we talked to echoed a list of reasons why they're not headed to the polls today. The turnout for the primary election back in March was a dismal 19%. The numbers are even worse for eligible voters under the age of 30. Circle, a group aimed at studying political activism of young voters, says less than 4% of people between 18 and 29 cast ballots in the March primaries. Students on campus appear to have a good idea of the issues that matter to them.
For education, I need to figure out how will my debt be lowered.
But many are doubtful on how effective any of the candidates will be.
I don't believe that Pat Quinn or Bruce Rauner are going to be good candidates.
I'm just really indifferent because I feel like everybody's kind of just the same, so I'm just indifferent to both parties, I guess.
Whatever the reasoning, the youth electorate is far less energized now than it was back in 2008.
Now, presidential elections have statistically always had a higher percentage of youth turnouts. According to Circle, 45% of people ages 18 through 29 voted in the 2012 election. But even that number is dropping from previous years. To find your nearest polling place, go to election.il.gov. At the McDonough County Courthouse, reporting for News 3, I'm Emily Manley.
Thank you, Mario and Emily. Voters will also be casting their ballot from the Illinois Senate race. Incumbent Dick Durbin, a Democrat, is seeking a fourth term. He faced no opposition in the primary. Illinois State Senator Jim Oberweis, a Republican, is also seeking the seat, along with Libertarian candidate Sharon Hansen.
And moving on to the race for Illinois Attorney General, there are 3 candidates vying for the position, one being Democratic incumbent Lisa Madigan. Madigan, daughter of Illinois Speaker of the House Mike Madigan, is running for the Democratic Party. Republican Paul Schimpf, a former Marine, is looking to remove the Democratic incumbent from her seat. Chicago attorney Ben Coyle is the Green Party candidate. Illinois citizens can also vote for the Secretary of State position on this November ballot. Incumbent Secretary of State Democrat Jesse White is running for his 5th term. Republican candidate Michael Webster is running for the position. And also running against White and Webster is Christopher Michael, a self-employed libertarian.
The race for Illinois controller is wrapping up as voters cast their ballot for their favorite candidate. Incumbent controller Republican Judy Bartopinka is looking to secure her 2nd term in the office after being elected in 2010. Topinka's opponents in this race are Democratic Sheila Simon and Libertarian Julie Fox. Fox is a certified public accountant, and Simon is the incumbent lieutenant governor elected in 2011. And moving to the Illinois treasurer race, the seat is being voted on today after previous treasurer Dan Rutherford left the seat to run in the Republican gubernatorial primary. Tom Cross is running for the Republican Party. He is a member of the Illinois House of Representatives from District 97. Mike Frerich is running for the Democratic Party. Frerich sits as a member of the Illinois State Senate from District 52. And Mike Skopik is running for the Libertarian Party. Skopik is currently the chairman of the Libertarian Party of Illinois.
Moving to the 18th Congressional District, there are 2 candidates up for the office. Incumbent Republican candidate Aaron Schock was first elected to represent the 18th District in 2008 and was re-elected in 2010 and 2012. He's seeking his 4th term. Democratic candidate Darrell Miller, a former Republican, is also running for the congressional seat. In the seat for the McDonough County Sheriff is also on today's ballot. Republican incumbent Rick Van Brooker is running unopposed for the seat. Van Brooker has been the McDonough County Sheriff for 8 years.
There's a 4-candidate race in McDonough County's 1st district. Republican candidates Larry Aurelio and William Digger Oster will be looking to secure a spot on the county board. There are 10 seats available, while Alice Henry and Earl Gott are the Democratic challengers. Aurelio, Henry, and Gott are all incumbents, while Oster is a new challenger to the position.
Moving to District 2 County Board, Clark Kelso, David Cordeleau, Trevor Tolland, and Travis Heil are the Republican candidates, while Dana Walker, Bob Smith, Christine Davis, and Stephen Larimer are the Democratic challengers. And finally in District 3, Republicans George Dixon, Marcia Twaddle, and Jerome Anderson are running. Jared Huffman and Peter T. Bythos Jr. are the Democratic candidates.
And coming up after the break, public universities and colleges in Illinois are all experiencing something that they're not used to. Part 1 of my 2-part series after the break.
And what a WIU faculty member is offering for the Stolen Flags from the Fallen Soldiers 5K. That and more next.
As for weather, we had a high of 70 yesterday. Not the case today. We're only sticking around in the 40s because we do have this cold front coming through the area. Stick around for my full weather forecast in just a few minutes.
Now from Macomb in high definition, you're watching Franny Smith, Drew Hoffman, weather with meteorology major Matt Kablusik, and sports with Jeff Marda. Live at 4 continues in a moment.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. Stop the texts. Stop the wrecks. Visit us at stoptextsstopwrecks.org.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up.
That's me, Joe Decker, owner of San Diego-based Gut Check Fitness, Guinness Book or World Record holder, World's Fittest Man, and WIU graduate. There are a few things that have helped me get to the top of my industry. Growing up on a farm in the Midwest, serving in the U.S. military, and graduating from WIU. This is my story. What will your success story be?
Campaign 2014, continuing coverage online, news3wiu.com.
Live from Salee Hall in high definition. News 3 continues.
Just 1 week ago, WIU faculty member and retired U.S. Army officer Mick Cumbie released a public statement.
The statement was in regards to a personal reward for any information that leads to the arrest of those who were responsible for the theft of 30 American flags from this year's Fallen Soldiers 5K.
News 3's Johnny Cather has more.
For the past 3 years, hundreds of American flags have lined the race route for the Fallen Soldiers 5K to remind those involved why they're volunteering their time and effort to the cause. This year, 197 flags were set up, but when it came time to take them down, only 167 remained. It was clear that 30 of the flags had been stolen. Lieutenant Colonel Mick Cumbie, Director of Development for the WIU College of Fine Arts and Communications, served on the organizing committee for the run and calls the theft a callous act of malicious cowardice.
My entire intent in writing the letter and offering a personal reward is to raise awareness both in the community and in the student population. You don't steal 30 flags and somebody doesn't know something or see something. So we want to emphasize what a heinous crime this is. It's disrespectful, not just to the university and their efforts to put on a quality event. It's disrespectful to the families involved. It hits very, very close to home. Colonel Baldwin was a member of the Delta Upsilon fraternity, which I'm an advisor for that fraternity. And Captain Dobagai served here at Western during the time that I ran the ROTC program. I recruited Derek, trained Derek, I commissioned Derek, and I sat with Derek's family at the funeral after he was killed in 2007. So it's quite personal for me.
Well, I'm here on Murray Street in Macomb, and this is where that Fallen Soldiers 5K took place. This was actually the middle portion of it, and also this is where those 30 flags were allegedly stolen from. I had the opportunity to speak on the phone with Deputy Chief Leonard of the Macomb Police Department, and he told me that as of right now, this is not an official investigation for them. Nobody has actually reported it. So they are relying on either secondhand tips or maybe even for the thieves themselves to turn themselves in. For News 3 in Macomb, I'm Johnny Cather.
Thanks, Johnny. News 3 will continue to keep you updated on this story. And the manhunt for a convicted sex offender has come to an end. On Thursday, police arrested 30-year-old Christopher Coffin at 214 Wigwam Hollow Circle. Coffin was wanted in several counties for a slew of offenses. Coffin was wanted in LaSalle County for impersonation of a police officer and in Will County for failure to register as a sex offender. Coffin was arrested by Macomb Police and the U.S. Marshal Service shortly after midnight on Thursday. Police say Coffin attempted to flee but was caught and later charged with obstructing and resisting a peace officer. The Macomb Police Department says tips on social media led to Coffin's arrest.
And a perfect storm has hit the campus of Western Illinois University, and adjustments have been made from the ground level to the top offices. This is part 1 of my 2-part series. There's been a lot of things disappearing over Western Illinois University's campus over the years. And the number one thing is, well, students. In the last 8 years, Western's Macomb campus enrollment has gone down by 2,426 students. And one of the main reasons responsible for this drop is in-state tuition.
We are pricing ourselves out of the market. So the more that we increase costs without additional increases in MAP and Pell, so state funding and federal funding to the student, that gap gets wider. So prior to 2007, a student could come to Western, no matter how much they had in family income, and could cover their cost of tuition, fees, room and board with financial aid.
And that price sticks out on paper. When comparing in-state tuition to the neighboring states, Illinois is the highest by far. It costs more to go to school here at Western than for residents in Wisconsin to go to the University of Wisconsin. And with prices like that, it's hard to recruit kids from out of state.
It's made it very difficult to compete, and I think that's one of the reasons why we've expanded our Western Commitment Scholarship Program. So we offer even more significant scholarships than what we have been doing the last 2 years, because of that level of competition.
Not only are the pockets of the universities hurting, but the pockets of students as well. The lack of money has restricted some benefits in certain aspects of student life.
In the economic climate that higher education is in, especially in Illinois, that becomes more challenging for them to have everything they want at the budget they want on. We can give you anything you want, we just raise the prices, but nobody wants that.
Despite the drop in students and overall enrollment, Western did, however, see an increase in the residence halls last year. And one of the main reasons is the reinvestment of money back into certain residence halls and the closing of others. Part 2 of the enrollment series will air next week. And the warm temps were here yesterday, but the cold quickly returned.
Matt Kablusik will have your full Election Day forecast later in the show.
Stories, they happen everywhere. At News 3, we go the distance and tell them firsthand. Across the region,
the tornado tore through a neighborhood in Washington, Illinois.
Across the state.
Here at the state capitol in Springfield for the gubernatorial race.
Across generations.
We have a lot of people that are very dedicated. We're all volunteers.
The stories that inform us, the stories that move us, the stories that matter from a fresh perspective.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
News 3 means to me an amazing experience. Being able to work with seniors, it's given me the experience and the knowledge and getting to know more about writing and becoming a better writer. Being able to be an anchor and do what I want to do in life. I don't want to leave. I'm not ready yet. I don't think there are words to describe how thankful I am for everything that everybody has given me and taught me while I'm here at Western.
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire, but you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. Stop the texts. Stop the wrecks. Visit us at stoptextsstopwrecks.org.
Welcome back to News 3. We're here in Macomb. We're dealing with temperatures. We're sitting right at 47 degrees right now. Today our high was 49, which was much cooler than our high of yesterday, which was 70 degrees. But don't expect it to get anywhere near that in the near future. For right now, we're dealing with mostly cloudy skies with winds coming out of the west at about 10 miles per hour. For our regional temperatures right about now, it's 48 up in Galesburg, 50 in Burlington, 48 in Quincy, and 51 down in Springfield. And if we look at our regional radar, as you can see, our radar is really just conforming to this cold front that's coming through our area, bringing just some quick, just kind of squeezing all the moisture out of the area, which is some very light rain. We did get some light rain last night around midnight and a little bit overnight at around 3 or 4 in the morning. Not enough to really notice, though. And if you take a look at our surface map, like I said, it's really just conforming to this cold front that is bringing the temperatures back down from yesterday's high, which was right around 70 degrees. As for tonight, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies, going to trap in the little bit of heat that we do have with a low of 39 with winds coming out of the southwest at about 5 miles per hour. As for tomorrow, our high is going to be 63, which is probably the closest or the highest we're going to get for quite a while, with those winds coming out of the south at about 10 to 15 miles an hour, really going to bring in a little bit more of those warmer temperatures. For our 5-day forecast, we have some consistency to the forecast. No real precipitation in the forecast, but like I said, 63 on Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, mostly cloudy, no precipitation in the forecast, with 47 on Thursday, 47 as well on Friday, 45 and 42 respectively on the over the weekend. Guys, these 40-degree temperatures is right where we should be for this time of the year.
You know, can't really complain. Feel like the weather's kind of been fair to us a little bit.
I think it teased us yesterday, though.
Yeah,
I will say that. They were teasing about it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Alrighty, thank you. Jeff is in next with sports. We have results from the Elmwood Cross Country Sectional. See which Macomb High student will be moving on to the state meet. And WIU men's soccer turned up the heat for their final homestand of the season.
Also, WIU's women's soccer scored 4 goals, but would it be enough for Senior Day on Saturday?
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple, just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
Don't worry. The 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play more. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Adopting a new pet is a rewarding experience. And Shelter Pets makes Super Pets. Your new best friend will steal your heart, bring you happiness, and enrich your life for years to come. You can make a difference in the life of an animal. Adopt and bring home a Shelter Pet today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Hi, that's me, Sammy Marshall, a junior exercise science major at Western Illinois University, shortstop on the Leatherneck softball team, and Summit League Player of the Year. At Western, I take my GPA just as seriously as I take my batting average. My experiences with faculty, my coaching staff, and the community are helping shape my future in exercise science. This is my story. What will your success story be?
When the big stories strike, count on award winners to provide you intimate and in-depth coverage. On the air and online. Local news, fresh perspective.
Welcome back to Live at 4. I'm Jeff Marta. Macomb High School qualified both its girls and boys cross-country teams to sectionals after they both secured regional titles last weekend. On Saturday, both teams competed at the Elmwood sectional meet, but only one Bomber athlete would advance. That runner is senior Ashley Plum, who finished 7th overall with a time of 18 minutes and 35 seconds. It was a personal best for Plum, who remained in the front of the pack from the opening gun. By finishing 7th, Plum automatically qualified for the state meet this weekend. Ashley will run this Saturday, November 8th at Detweiler Park in Peoria. Now moving to Western Illinois athletics, the men's soccer team is prepping for the final game of the season this weekend against Denver University in Colorado. The team ended its home schedule with a finale this past Saturday versus Oral Roberts in a game that got heated early. Here, Western Illinois honored 7 seniors before the game Saturday. It was their last home match of their college careers. There's only one, there's senior right there. Charlie Bales getting the team amped up for a crazy one. Here in the 13th minute, McLean Johnson gets himself a yellow card. Next up is Casper Kokas for Oral Roberts getting the yellow. Then Javier Baez with another yellow card, and Wayne Farmer going to chip in another one in the 36th minute. Then it's Ephraim Okeke getting himself ejected with a red card, and now Juan Diego Padillas gets his turn at the yellow. And now here, a violent play on the ball from both Gerardo Salas of Oral Roberts and Western's Diego Lopez. The referee was going to have none of that. They both get ejected with red cards. Finally, we did have some scoring. A pass gets up to Edgardo Mira, and he puts it past Yves Dietrich. Oral Roberts wins 2-0 in a very physical match. And the women's locker team played its last game of the season on Sunday against the University of South Dakota at John McKenzie Alumni Field. IUPUI won earlier in the day, meaning Western was eliminated from playoff contention. The game still had some meaning, though, as 5 seniors were honored in their last game as a Leatherneck. There is Sarah Hall, a senior that had a big role in this game. Here she gets the pass from Alexis Morales, and she slides it past the goaltender for her first of 2 goals in the game. She finished with her season with 8 goals overall. Later, Brianna Hughes feeds Skylar Jessup in stride. Jessup one move and strikes it in for the early lead. Now South Dakota did come roaring back with 3 goals in the second half. This one by the junior Megan Anderson, but Western Illinois would hang on for the win 4-3 After this beautiful save from senior Victoria Capel, WIU finishes the season 5-12-1 overall. Finally, the women's basketball team is showing their support for Lauren Hill, a freshman basketball player at Mount St. Joseph University. Hill was recently diagnosed with inoperable brain cancer and had been given only months left to live. St. Joseph head coach Dan Benjamin played Hill in a game against Miram College last week. Over 10,000 fans were in attendance to watch Lauren Hill score in her only college basketball appearance. The women's basketball team here at Western posted this picture on their Facebook page yesterday. It's a new purple Western Illinois jersey with Lauren Hill's number 22 on it. The team plans to send the jersey off to Hill in the support of the Cure Starts Now Foundation. So a great gesture by the women's basketball team and a very inspirational story from Lauren Hill. So that's going to do it from here in sports. Western's football team back in action this weekend. They travel up to Vermillion, South Dakota to take on the Coyotes. Should be a good game after Western's 2 weeks off to kind of prepare and get ready for it.
Yeah, I feel like they've had enough time to kind of get everything together. But I mean, also the Coyotes are pretty tough as well. But we have to go up there 2 weekends in a row. Right, Jeff?
Yeah, 2 weekends in a row. And with it being the end of November, it's going to be brutally cold up there in South Dakota the following weekend when they have to play South Dakota State, who does have an outdoor facility. Unlike this weekend, they play in a dome.
Yeah, so they're kind of getting off easy this weekend, but next weekend, that's the real test.
It's going to be so fun for you guys. I'm jealous.
Yeah, if you call being out in the cold for a while fun. Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
If you're planning to vote, you have about 2.5 hours before the polls close.
We'll be back to wrap up Campaign 2014 coverage right after this.
My name is Patrick Magoon, and I have the privilege of serving as the President and Chief Executive Officer of Ann and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago. I'm also a very proud alumni of Western Illinois University. It gave me the foundation I needed to build a very successful career. That's my story. What will your success story be?
When you get to be a part of the people that really are here for one common goal, one common interest, and that's to be the best, and that's such a big deal to me. You see all these plaques hanging around here, and I definitely want to make my mark before I leave here as well. Last year, there was no one better than Western's newscast. Plain and simple, we won statewide and then nationally. I couldn't be any happier with how things are going out for me right now. Everything that I wanted, I got.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Call this free government program for the option that's right for you.
As we wrap up the show, you're taking a look at Wesley Church on Adams Street. You still have a little over 2.5 hours to vote. Polls close at 7 tonight.
News 3 will have full election results on our website. And if you can't remember your polling location, you can find it at elections.il.gov. And after that, we're going to send it over to Matt Kablusik for our final look at weather. Matt?
All right, let's take a look. I guess the good news here is that there's no snow in the forecast. We do have a high of 63 tomorrow and pretty much consistency mid-40s for the rest of the week with partly cloudy skies. 45 on Saturday and 42 on Sunday.
Yeah, that is definitely saying that fall is here to stay. And thank you again. Stay connected with News 3 as we bring you continuing coverage of Campaign 2014 and the results.
Visit us, news3wiu.com, Facebook and Twitter at News3WIU.
Remember, we're back on Thursday here at Live.